Shedeur Sanders was caught on audio saying, that's what it is. When his uncle said, you're going to the Giants, I got to wear a Giants uniform. I got to wear a Shedeur Sanders Giants uniform. Shedeur seemed ultra confident in that was where he was going to land and play football in 2025 via the number 3 overall pick in the NFL draft. So we got a lot to talk about in regards to that. Could he be wrong? Absolutely. Like we have no proof other than Shedeur himself being caught saying that's where it is. That's where I'm playing. And he was really ultra confident in it. And it's where we've wanted Shedeur to go all along. I don't care that they've brought in Winston and then they signed Russell Wilson. These are backup quarterbacks anyway. And it's good if the worst case scenario happens that those are the only 2 quarterbacks on the roster. At least there's 2, quarterbacks that can deliver the football to Neighbors, both of which are light years ahead of last year. Neighbors was wide receiver number 6 last year with a quarterback carousel of garbage. And then abracadabra, he's going to get potentially Shedeur Sanders, who is honestly super underrated in this draft class if he lands in the right spot. He's very vulnerable to being a player that could get lost in the shuffle. No doubt about it. But going to play for Dable, the quarterback whisperer, no matter what he did wrong with Danny Dimes, no matter what he believed in Dimes that was right or wrong, he's still the guy that shaped Josh Allen's career. So we know that Dable, if he gets handed a quarterback like Shedeur, he can make the most of him. Not to mention he has Malik Neighbors to throw the football to. And this is going to be an amazing situation if it happens. And it'll make Neighbors, again, he's going up and down. It's a roller coaster ride of ADP for Malik Neighbors. But if he gets Shedeur Sanders, the haters are going to say, oh, Sanders is awful. He's so bad. But the true, real ones out there that know football, that know fantasy football, that know opportunity, that know backup plan after backup plan equals safety and security net, those real ones, the ones that follow this channel, know that Shedeur plus Winston plus Russell Wilson will be way more than guaranteed top 6 wide receiver numbers on a healthy season for Malik Neighbors. We've got the tush push being potentially voted by the owners to be banned. No, 16-16 was the vote, and so the NFL said they'll table it for now until Roger Goodell in NFL soft fashion. It's soft. It's a soft move. It's a soft position to take when you say that the NFL needs to ban the tush push. Roger Goodell steps in and says, for safety reasons, we need to address this. Now Roger Goodell is probably going to circumvent the rules because he didn't get the vote he wanted. This is corrupt. It's soft. It's insane. And then we got Aaron Rodgers reportedly going to announce that he's a Pittsburgh Steeler here very shortly. The Fantasy Football Show begins now. More Breece Hall news. Are they going to run a committee in New York? We've got a little word on that. We'll discuss whether that should be a concern, whether Aaron Glenn's concern or comments about the potential use of all of his running backs is concerning. We'll go over that. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
So let's start off with Shedeur. There was footage of this man talking with his uncle about being a New York Giant, and the conversation that they have is very telling as to where Shedeur believes and insinuates he's going to be playing ball.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You know that's what it is.
Anyway, with the NFC East, man. Please, man.
He's begging. He's begging his nephew. He says, please, Neff, don't go anywhere. Don't make me wear a Giants Shedeur Sanders uniform. He says, I want to wear a Shedeur Sanders uniform every week, but don't make me wear a Giants. He goes, that's what it is. And he's kind of just like brushing his uncle off like, I'm going there. So this is great news. We don't know for sure. Again, so many things could go wrong here. So many things could be being pulled out of context here, even by us who we don't have a lot of information. We're trying to digest what's in front of us. So understand that we will adjust and adapt if something comes out that kind of shoots this down and that there's explanation behind this. But it's currently floating around right now, and this is all we have to go on. So people are dissecting it as we speak, and we'll find out what in the hell is going on. We live in a world of AI where we don't know what's true anymore, so we have to be careful. But at the end of the day, it does feel like Shedeur's been told you're gonna be probably our pick at 3 overall. We really want you. You don't even need to do interviews anymore. Who knows how it's going down? But for whatever reason, he seems comfortable as hell. Not to mention Malik Neighbors and him appear to be like this already. And if Malik Neighbors, as even Bruce has said before, what if Malik Neighbors says, I want Shedeur? Like there's definitely a little bit of pull that Neighbors is gonna have in terms of that, but I'm sure they don't let him make decisions or press buttons, but it certainly is something to consider. And the fact that you're trying to build around Malik Neighbors and you want to get him an elite quarterback, and the Giants have gone on record saying that they plan to draft and cultivate a younger quarterback underneath the 2 quarterbacks they have. These are 2 one-year pit stop borrow. You're basically borrowing a quarterback. You're renting a quarterback in Winston and Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson on the 1-year deal, Winston on the 2-year deal. The combined money is backup money together. It's a cheap quarterback amount of money they're paying for 2025. So anybody thinks, they can't go get a quarterback now because of the Winston and Russell Wilson signing. Those are 2 backup quarterbacks. So very much think it's in the cards for Shedeur to be a New York Giant, and I believe he wins the job. And if they don't start him in week 1, for whatever reason, it's a matter of time before he gets in there by week 4, week 5, week 6. I can't even see him hitting mid-season and not being the starter for the New York Giants. I think he probably wins the job. He wins the job. They're going to draft him number 3. You know my rule. You draft a quarterback inside the top 10, you better damn well start that quarterback in week 1, because that's the NFL and college football translation that we currently have going on between the two worlds. It's a translates right away NFL from college football for running back, for wide receiver, and for quarterback. All 3 positions. The tight end position is a little behind, but the tight end position will catch up eventually and become the same thing. But Shedeur to New York would be amazing.
Let him cook.
Okay, that's for Malik Neighbors. That's for our boy JD5. I'm wearing the JD5 shirt. But at the end of the day, guys, Shedeur is better than anyone thinks he is. In New York, if Shedeur went number 1 to Tennessee, guess what? Probably wouldn't be on board all that much. I wouldn't hate him. I wouldn't call him a bust, but I don't think he'd develop fast. Cam Ward's going to probably... He's just a little bit better quarterback. He's probably going to have a shot at hanging with Shedeur, but Shedeur might outplay him as a rookie because he has Malik Neighbors in a much more advanced situation. Even though the Giants are the Giants, I get it. Even if they don't address like the running back in the 2nd or 3rd round and bring in a Cam Scatteraboo or, a Caleb Johnson or somebody like that, or Henderson even in the 2nd round, or trade up and do something crazy. They still have Tyrone Tracy, who played very well last year. Definitely almost fumbled his job away. Did fumble it away for a minute. But they've got a really good team. And Shedeur is crazy how many people hate Shedeur. Shedeur in New York with Neighbors is the clear number 2. If Shedeur goes somewhere else, I might actually have Milroe ahead of him. But that's not a knock on Shedeur. That is acknowledging that situation cannot be separated from player. In fact, situation can amplify and make player better. Tom Brady would have never become Tom Brady. Even if someone gave him a shot on another team, he may never have become Tom Brady if he wasn't in New England at that moment in time in that situation. The same thing with Kurt Warner, the same thing with Arian Foster, the same thing with Bucky Irving, the same thing with Kyron Williams. This is a league where magic can happen if the right situation meets the right talent, meets the right mental capacity, meets the right players moment in time. So Shedeur could become so much better than people think because of Dable, because of Malik Neighbors, because of what the Giants have in front of them, even with Shinebox Joe trying to mess things up. Joe Shine is one of the worst GMs in the league. I believe that there's more people making decisions together on this go around, and I think they'll do their best to not screw this up. So here we go. Neighbors to the moon. Neighbors has been a roller coaster ride of ADP. Oh my God, it's Winston. Oh, he's my dark horse number one. I'm the first person to say this. Content creator Caleb here. Everybody, I have a bold take. Maybe Malik Neighbors could be a dark horse wide receiver one. Oh, Russell Wilson now is the starter. Oh, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and pull that back, delete that video. Smitty's not wavering. He's still my dark horse. No one, every once in a while, one of you random Joes come into the chat and they go, Smitty, why are you telling people to draft Malik Neighbors over Jamar Chase? When have I ever said that? The answer is never. The answer is you don't. The answer is you're 1.1, you take Jamar Chase. I don't know what I got to say over and over for it to sink in with some people that are in the chat going, hey, you don't like Jamar Chase? What a joke. Who are you? Where are you coming from? You're late to the party. You don't even know what room you stepped in. Read the room, Steve. Read the room. No one's saying draft Jamar Chase over Neighbors. I say over and over my dark horse number one wide receiver. That means your cost of entry is glory. That means the ability for this man to become something magnificent is in play. That means that Neighbors has the ability to what? Oh, wait a minute. I kind of remember Smitty making a video about this.
In a distant galaxy far away, a planet called Arod had an extinction-level event which caused utter collapse. One pod escaped containing a young boy, the last of his kind, drifting off course after an asteroid shower encounter. The pod found its way into Earth's orbit and crash-landed on a small farm. On this farm, the young boy lived a normal and hidden life, until his powers became evident and his mission and purpose became clear. His name was to be Neighbors after his home planet. He would comb the Earth looking to save all that needed his help. At first, Neighbors was keeping up with all who needed his help, but he couldn't do it alone. He needed a sidekick to truly become invincible and turn into a supernova.
And with the third overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select.
Clearly, TBA, clearly we don't know. Eddie said, Eddie, I thank God Eddie's here because Eddie knows everything. Eddie says, bruh, they signed Russ and Jameson's bridge QBs. They're taking Travis Hunter. I've got the blueprint. I know everything. No one said, Eddie, that this isn't a possibility. We're saying that Shedeur Sanders, have you been listening or paying attention, Eddie? Eddie, rewind the show and catch up. I don't have time. I don't have time for that nonsense. Eddie's not even looking. He's not even listening. He hears Smitty, but doesn't listen to Smitty. Okay, so Neighbors is in good position. And either way, as I said, Eddie, is that what your name was? Eddie. As I said, Eddie, even if it doesn't happen, Wilson and Winston are light years ahead. And if he could be number 6 wide receiver material from last year with garbage quarterback play, I'm pretty sure that Winston and Russ can feed him top 4, top 3 wide receiver numbers, Eddie. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, here we go. I love how Eddie's so confident. Like, bro, I got the Gray's Book Sports Almanac. It's Hunter. Hunter could go there, but he's not the most projected player to go to the New York Giants. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Okay, let's move on from this, but we'll talk about this when the phone lines open. Real quickly, Aaron Rodgers, as I've been predicting for months now, really. Do you remember the live stream where this wasn't even a hint or a thought? Nobody mentioned the Steelers at all. No one. Not a single person was mentioning the Steelers. And on this show, I said Pittsburgh would be perfect for Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams if Devontae were to follow him, which Devontae clearly didn't. But on this channel, we said the Steelers, I even told Ron Navy, your Steelers would be perfect for Aaron Rodgers. Nobody talked about this at all. We've been saying it from the beginning. He'll be a Pittsburgh Steeler. He was out there throwing with DK Metcalf this past weekend, just throwing darts all over. This man looks serious. Look at Aaron Rodgers. He says, yeah, I see that bag of Skittles you left over there. You've got 4 seconds to run and get him. I'm going to time you. They're out there like best friends, throwing the pigskin, just back and forth. Aaron Rodgers announcement coming soon. You can clown on it all you want, but it's a really damn good situation. A very damn good situation for this team. All right, now we get into the kind of the wild stuff. Okay, this is where I get a little worked up here. It might be rant time, come to think of it, because Smitty's about to get a little bit angry.
Time for a Smitty rant.
Ladies and gentlemen, oh God, we haven't done a Smitty rant until the last time we did a Smitty rant was when I said to trade Walker in week 4 or 5, remember? See him up there? This is the guys, listen, this is going to be a hard conversation to hear because we promoted Walker all damn offseason. And then about week 4, I think he had all those touchdowns. Wow, we haven't done a Smitty rant since then, at least hitting the button. I ran all the time. But that's wild because we talk about that moment in time where it was decided that we must move on from Walker. Not right now, not this year necessarily, but during that season. Okay, guys, here's where I get pretty pissed off because the NFL is soft. The NFL is soft. Roger Goodell is corrupt, in my opinion, and this is getting wild. More about the NFL ownership tabling the voting on the Green Bay Packers proposal. The Green Bay Packers, we don't like the tush push. We've tried it, Bill. Yeah, we've tried it. Doesn't work for us. Okay, we'll tell them to ban it then. Yeah, we'd like to propose a ban for the tush push because Jordan Love isn't very good at it, and we don't like it. So we're gonna be big babies. Get us a couple of juice boxes and some hot pockets, and we're gonna go cry in the corner for our mama because we're babies. The Green Bay Packers should be ashamed of themselves. I'm sorry for my Packer fans out there, but your team is crying and complaining. Gump, not right now. I don't answer the phone during the monologue. Stop calling. I'll open the phone line in a minute. When I put the phone number on screen, that means the phone lines are open, Gump. You keep dialing nonstop. This isn't the Gump monologue show, okay? The tush push was voted to be banned or not by the teams, by the proposal of the crybaby Green Bay Packers, the whining, complaining baby Green Bay Packers, who should be ashamed of themselves. And the NFL decided it was a 16-16 split, which 24 votes were needed. And the Eagles posted this kind of wild, I put it in my description as well. Kind of wild, like, pushing on the tush. It's back. It's not going away. And so anyway, we got the tush push back, right? This right here, more on the proposal for tabling the discussion. Tabling it. What does that mean, tabling it? Tabling it for what? For like next year? Maybe when Goodell regroups and tries to... No. Roger Goodell on the tush push. I think there are safety issues being considered with the tush push. We have very little data, but we see the potential risk. Wait a minute. You've got no actual data or evidence, but you see a potential risk. Now you're in the business of predicting when a player might get hurt, even though you've got no evidence that it's been hurting players. You've got very little data, no injuries really to speak of that are outside the regular norm of football injury and correlation. And now you're bringing this up in corrupt fashion because you see the potential. Look, we have very little data, but we see the potential risk. It makes a lot of sense to go back to the old rule prohibiting pulling or pushing the ball carrier. Now, some of you are going to come in here with your soft stance, and I appreciate you. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at your stance. I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling at your stance. It's soft. and it's weak to say that the tush push should be banned because you weren't complaining about it 2.5, 3 years ago. You weren't complaining about it. I don't understand why it becomes an issue now because someone successfully used the confines of the rules to develop a play that they've successfully executed. And now everybody wants to get rid of it that can't do it. And anybody out there that says we should get rid of it, go back in the day, they should at least, I've heard it all before. You're not an actual bringing some sort of novelty idea to the table when you say this regurgitated phrase that you heard from someone and you keep repeating. They used to not do it. Or the worst one is let their defense push and then it's okay. Have I heard that one? I've heard that one. What was it that you said that I can regurgitate? Yeah. He said over there, and I'm going to say it here like it's my idea. If you go back to the olden days, the defense could, if you let the defense push, then I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Why I'm not okay with it is because Jordan Love can't do it. Half of these teams tried to execute it. Half of these teams tried the tush push. They couldn't do it. Now they're trying to ban it. But it's going to take 24 votes. And guess what? 4 coaches are going to push to the very end, the bitter end, to not allow it to get overturned. Roger Goodell does have the power to pressure owners to flip it. But at a 16-16 vote, when the vote doesn't go Rodgers' way, you have a vote for a reason. And when the vote doesn't go Rodgers' way, he says, I think there are safety issues being considered with the tush push. We have very little data, but we see the potential risk. You don't make decisions on overturning rules that the league doesn't vote on properly because you see a potential risk. You have no data whatsoever. The league is soft. Anybody saying that, I'm not saying the person is a soft individual necessarily, but anybody saying that the tush push should be banned has a soft stance that's rooted in fandom and absolute bias. Sorry, that's the way it is. It doesn't matter what they did in the past. You know, they've changed a lot of rules in the NFL. If somebody became really good at returning kicks in the new confines of the rules, you're going to change the rules because back in the day, they didn't have this. And the NFL, remember when the NFL was the Chiefs and everybody were looking at rugby players? They're like, let's get a rugby player in here. Let's figure out how to maybe have a defensive player kick the ball off and become good at kicking. So we had an extra defender, not a kicker on the field to try and, stop a team from returning kicks a little bit better. What happens if a team perfected that? Are we going to take it away because a team was stopping everybody at the 9-yard line because they had an extra defender on the field? These are the confines of the rules. Everybody knows them. And everybody complaining today and a little bit last year about the tush push and the rules. You've had the rules for how long now? And you're only bringing it up now, as Roger Goodell is, when a team's using it to win games. And I've never said that the NFL's rigged. And I continue to think that that's a joke. The NFL's not rigged. Is there corruption inside the NFL? Yes. Is the commissioner trying to pull strings like a puppet master? Of course. That's different than the NFL being rigged. Those are two completely different angles. So when you say rigged, understand what you're saying. That it's some sort of WWE. It is not. The teams lose games or seasons or Super Bowls because it's in the plan. That's ridiculous. That's as ridiculous and soft as any other thing we're talking about. Is there corruption involved? Is Roger Goodell trying to control things? Absolutely. I've said that from the beginning of time. Roger Goodell decides when he wants to have a heavy hand and when he doesn't. And that's the problem here. Roger Goodell's meddling and he's trying to control this situation. Is it because he wants the Chiefs to have a better shot at winning? That could be the case. Is it because he has other reasons that we're not even talking about? Sure. But this is a soft stance. And anybody that says that this thing should be equaled out on the defensive side of the ball, your team's losing. Your team sucks at the tush push. That's why you're here crying and complaining. Nobody should be changing rules because a team's winning Super Bowls because of the rules that are within the confines of everything. And a team figured it out. This is wild to me. This is wild to me. This is corruption at its highest. This is overstepping the line and abusing power at the highest level inside the NFL. And it disgusts me. And it makes me ashamed and embarrassed to even cover the NFL right now. We've got this right here, which I think will concern a lot of people, and that's kind of good and kind of bad at the same time. There's a report that Aaron Glenn said on Breece Hall in the running back room. I would say we have three running backs in this team we're going to utilize as much as possible. It could be a 1-2-3 punch. The question was, hey, do you, just to make sure everybody has the context, because people are going to go running from this situation, which is kind of good. The question was, you come from Detroit where you had Gibbs and Monty. Is that what you're thinking? And he goes, well, we got 3 good running backs. It could be a 1-2-3 punch. I think we're going to use these guys once we know what their skill sets are. We're going to put them out there. And the question stemmed from an initial question that said, hey, how's Breece Hall doing? He kind of had a year where he was frustrated, didn't use properly, coming off of, that injury and looking good. And how's he doing? How's Breece Hall doing? He says he's doing great. He's doing great. But we have other running backs on the roster. So people are going to go running from Breece Hall. But let me point something out specifically. If you're going to run away from Breece Hall at what currently is like the 2-3 turn, and it pushes him, let's say this news pushes him, and it certainly will push him to like the mid-third to late third, maybe even top of 4. I don't really know how knee-jerk reacting people are going to get from this news. It depends on how much negative content's created around the quote and comments by Aaron Glenn, which are very, very, I just laid them out. I think people are going to twist them a little bit, and as they twist them, it's going to drop Breece's value. Every pick that Breece Hall falls into round 3, deeper into round 3, he becomes less risky. Breece Hall needs efficiency, not volume. Breece Hall needs a running back like Braylon Allen or somebody to keep, maybe if they're going to run a lot more, and they are. This is going to be more of a running team, so they have to have more people step up to run the ball. If they're going to run more and just hand everything to Breece Hall, he's going to break. We want Breece Hall getting quality touches where he can outperform a version of himself that's getting way more volume, because he can score more fantasy points with let's say 12 to 13 carries and 5 receptions than he can getting the ball 18 times on the ground and start to become inefficient. So to me, if you're judging Hall from top 5 overall value entry point, your cost of entry was last year's top 5, top 7 overall player, then of course there's a little bit more risk here than you would like, and you might step aside and say, I like Breece. He could earn top 10 running back or top 10 overall value, but I'm not in the business of spending money and draft capital on a player that disappointed last year, and now his coach is talking about using multiple running backs. You step aside if he was number 8 overall, let's say. Totally understandable. But when Breece Hall is going in the 3rd, now heading closer to the 4th round than he is the 2nd round, you're talking about a player that has every bit of the risk baked into his value. And for anybody to say I'm avoiding Breece Hall, I'm avoiding Breece Hall because of this conversation, I don't think you understand the value proposition that's in front of your face right now. If this lowers Breece Hall's value, I love it. Just like Corum lowered Kyron's value and Corum wasn't a threat, the volume concerns might not be even remotely close to equivalent to the threat that the actual, situation actually plays out to be. So Corum was a threat that ended up being neutralized, and it lowered Kyron's value, and we all won because of it. And Breece Hall, there is a committee feel here, but what people aren't calculating is this man wants to run the hell out of the ball. He's a defensive-minded guy. He's a defensive coordinator turned head coach. He wants to run the hell out of the ball. And Justin Fields is going to keep defenses honest. And yeah, you could say vulture, Justin Fields, whatever, but he's keeping defenses honest. Breece Hall is going to have 5 and 7 yards of rip. He's going to have much more bigger explosive plays, 5 breakaway touchdown runs on the year, or touchdown receptions combination, at least 5 touchdowns coming from big, huge monster plays, because Fields is going to draw the defense to one side of the field, toss a little ball to the flat, and Breece Hall takes off to the end zone. Or Breece Hall takes a screen pass, or Breece Hall takes a sweep to the right, and everyone's worried about where the hell Fields is. And he's got this wide open gap, one move and he's gone. Breece Hall is one of the most elusive players in the National Football League. And I think when people try and judge him off his old value, top 10 overall value, top 5 running back value, and use that assessment when they're talking about him, drafting him in the 3rd and 4th round. They don't know what in the hell they're talking about. Breece Hall's glorious in the 3rd, heading toward the 4th round.
Breece Hall is 8 foot tall. He will always answer the mother freaking call. Don't let him fall. In the 3rd, don't stall. Just give Batman the freaking football.
He's Breece. He's Breece.
He does a whole of a job. A whole of a job. A whole of a job.
Breece Hall, please report to the moon.
He does a jale bayot.
You know who had the best? I see some of the debating in the live chat, and I get it. But you know who had the best comment of the day yesterday on the Tush Push was BBQ, our own BBQ, who's got his own emoji. And some of you've got gifted memberships just sitting there compiling because this man's been giving them to you. He's been tossing them out like crazy. But BBQ said something that was right on point. Perfectly. I couldn't have explained it better myself. He said, what are we going to do? Eliminate all trick plays? The Tush Push was a trick play, essentially. Someone, or the Eagles, really, figured out how to say, you know what, let's use the rules. And this is kind of a trick play. And it's a trick play because it was unusual the way that it was done. And no team could really do it properly. You need to have the right personnel for it. And so they've catered to it. They've made it better. They've honed in on it. They've kind of decided to build their team in a way, in a direction that helps them perform this Tush Push. They even got A.J. Dillon in the offseason. Quadzilla 1, Saquon Barkley, Quadzilla 2, and Jalen Hurts, 600-pound squatting Quadzilla 3. And so now you come in and you say, oh, we're going to change the rules on you after they've already made decisions and personnel decisions and paid money and contracts and divvied contracts out when they didn't have the whole story by the league that they're going to corruptly come in here and take away the Tush Push. But it's a trick play. You're going to take away the Statue of Liberty play because someone makes amazing sense of it. Like, what are we doing? You're going to take away the screen pass because a team knows how to do it. Oh, wait, we're going to have to change the rules on blocking now. It's weak. It's a weak. No, you can call it if you want. No one has a good argument. I can tell you right now, no one has a good argument. Nobody. It's corrupt. It's a corrupt argument. It's a biased argument. It's fandom speaking. No one has a good argument. It's all based on your being mad and crying about your team not being able to do the Tush Push. If your team could do the Tush Push effectively, you'd be in here acting like it was a travesty for them to overturn it. And you know it. It's all based on corruption. It's all based on bias. Again, don't worry about this man right here, Breece Hall. His value's all the way baked in, baby. It's so baked in. There hasn't been something more baked in my life that I've seen. Kirk Cousins, Diana Rossini, based on the conversations I've been hearing. Look, this is true, though. This is not coming from Diana Rossini. This is something that we've heard for a month now. Kirk Cousins getting traded in April seems extremely likely, probably 90% likely. And the Browns are the best bridge quarterback situation to go to. So the Browns getting Kirk Cousins seems very likely. And the whole news about Shedeur, you know, his dad not wanting him to go to Cleveland, him not wanting to go to Cleveland, them messing up the quarterback decision-making for a while now. They can't afford to have a guy not want to play for him. So they're going in a different direction. That's why the Giants are sitting pretty with this number 3 overall pick to get Shedeur, which is fantastic. I'm so excited for Shedeur Sanders to go to the New York Giants, which is probably going to be the case. We don't have a guarantee on it, but it does feel very likely at this point that Shedeur will be going number 3 based on the reports, based on him suggesting it to his uncle. He could have wrong information. Maybe they're mad at him for saying it that way and it got caught on camera and they go back on it. Who knows? We have no idea. But right now, Shedeur looks like he's thinking he's going to be a Giant, and that's the best source of information we have. And so we're going to go.
Let him cook.
So excited about that. Neighbors from Shedeur. It's going to be great. NFL did finally listen because we were screaming this all mother freaking end of the year. Super Bowl time frame is when we started really getting loud on it. The method for measuring first downs will switch from the chain gang to the camera-based technology system in 2025. The league announced traditional chain crew will remain on the sidelines in a secondary capacity, but it will be measured by the tech. So that's good. Problem with this is that people are you can't trust the commissioner. You can't trust, people are going to have a problem with the tech. It's like the chain gang will look like they're more right. And then we're going to be like, why is the upstairs measuring it from there? The chain gang clearly told them this was the mark, and the measurements being used, from a starting point in a different spot. Like, will it really solve the problem? I don't know. I honestly don't know. And this man, Jerry Jones, in Jerry's world again, totally disrespecting Parsons' agent, saying he doesn't even know his name. He's like, I don't even know who his agent is. Like, yes, he does. He's one of the most famous agents in the league. And Jerry Jones acts like he doesn't. He's trying to circumvent the agent and supposedly offered Parsons the biggest non-quarterback offer. But what's in it? What's the deal look like? Why is Jerry getting involved? Trying to get involved without an agent involved so he can pull one over on Parsons? I don't know what's going on here. Jerry's just doing Jerry, but Jerry's trying to get a deal done. We'll talk more about that. Super chats here real quickly. Thomas says, Arod decision April 9 on Pat McAfee. I'm calling it. I mean, you're not really calling it, Thomas. Everyone's saying that, so I appreciate you, but this is definitely not. Everyone thinks that's probably the case, but I don't know. I don't know that I would say. I don't think maybe we wait that long, but I don't know that now the cat seems out of the bag. Him playing with DK Metcalf, and I think him not wanting to have this stigma of that he's this news media fiend, that he's gonna take everything outside of Pittsburgh and display it in the media and let all these like skeletons out, and you know what I mean? Like, I think part of him is like, I can't go that route. This is not that situation. But Thomas, you could be right, and then that's how it does happen. It's certainly possible. Do you remember when I was going on my Disneyland trip? Like, how long ago was that? It was like 2 weeks ago now. You remember when I was going on my trip, I said, oh God, Aaron Rodgers is going to make his announcement right when I get to Disneyland. It's been how long since I don't know. But Thomas, yeah, you could end up being right. That could be where it happens. A lot of people agree with you. Another super chat by BBQ. Eagles just need to call it victory formation or QB sneak, and it's the same setup. Well, it technically it isn't, because it's about the pushing of the ball carrier. So it doesn't matter what they call it. It's still the pushing that they want to overrule. But I think what people need to understand is that no matter what, you can circumvent this. Like pushing the line even, and not pushing the ball carrier, and then the ball carrier Hurts is gonna find the seam that the whole team's forcing forward. Like they'll figure out a way to do it. There's a chance that just like the NFL kickoff rules were supposed to change everything and it didn't change a thing. That's why they now moved the ball to the 35-yard line on a touchback, which is another rule that they voted on. There's a very good chance that banning pushing the ball carrier, and maybe Goodell's going to try and make it a small change so that people just kind of forget about it. Okay, whatever. Instead of like calling Goodell out like, you corrupt man, they might say like, you can't push the ball carrier. But the Eagles will find a way to just push the line differently. And you're talking about a 600-pound squatting individual in Jalen Hurts, and they're still going to be fine. This might result in like 2 less touchdowns, but it's the process of crying and complaining by the way of the Green Bay Packers. And some people defend the Packers. Like the Packers weren't their intent. Remember the caller last night? Who was it? I forget who it was. They called in. It was New Age, who we love. We love New Age. New Age, this is not on you. This is on the topic. I'm passionate about the topic, not against New Age. New Age is the man. Love New Age. New Age and BBQ been dropping gifted memberships like they're candy in here. We owe New Age and BBQ a standing ovation always.
Mashed potatoes!
But New Age, you did say yesterday that the intention wasn't to ban the tush. Yes, it is, though. It is, because they made the proposal. So they're trying to ban the tush push. And if anybody would like to call in and defend the tush push banning's honor, go ahead, dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
The phone line is open. Go ahead. Smitty, I called in to cry about the tush push. Let me tell you why. Back in the day, they used to not do. Okay, we've already heard that one. Nice try. And then the other one is if they just let the push on defense and it would be equal. Nice try. You heard those two things from the local podcast. Anything else? Any other good reasons why? Any other good reasons why you should cry and complain? Let me turn on the. I have a feeling that we won't have a proper Rock Out, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, what's up, my guy? You're live.
I guess it was enough pushing for the tushing. Pause.
Enough pushing for the tushing. Look, the Eagles are excited that the tush can be pushed, for the moment, but Goodell doesn't like it. He doesn't want anybody's hands on the tush. And probably, let's be honest. Again, I don't think it's a rigged league, but it's a corrupt, from the suits on down, there's corruption for sure. And if you want to say that the Chiefs want, or the commissioner wants Taylor Swift to win the Super Bowl, which is what I think most of us feel the most corruption piece lies. It lies in the Taylor Swift realm. Yeah, I mean, of course, why not just step in and say, oh, the vote didn't go the way that I wanted, and I applied pressure on the teams. I got it to a 16-16, which wasn't enough. And instead of saying that it failed to win the vote, he calls the vote off. Like, that's even more corrupt. Roger Goodell, it wasn't that it didn't pass. Roger Goodell said we're tabling the vote because it wasn't going his way. It was 16-16. The vote actually happened. From what I've heard, even if a couple teams didn't actually complete the vote, it was 16-16. Instead of Roger Goodell letting it be an L, he says, we're going to table it because I think I need to step in for the safety of the league. Why? Do you have data? No, there's no data. There's limited data, but there's definitely the potential risk that we can envision. If I close my eyes, I could see somebody getting hurt. Maybe we should just go to flag football. Like, if you want to go after something that is kind of controversial, like, go after the quarterbacks, and this even goes for, like, Mahomes. Go after the quarterback, go after the rules or the defining of rules where the quarterbacks dance around and pretend they're going to slide and then they don't. Like, you want to try and go after something controversial and take away the ability for a quarterback to do something that puts the defense at a disadvantage. Go after that. And say, hey, look, you're running around and you get leveled, that's on you. Even if you end up sliding at the end, there's a certain amount of commitment that has to be a certain amount of seconds where you surrender. You start dancing around and you get leveled, that's on you. Go after that. Why are we going after a play that everybody else can do? Everybody can do it, and they've tried. It's soft.
Can fail. Especially the Packers.
Yeah.
During lunch.
Okay. Yeah. What's even crazier is to win the Super Bowl, doing it, and then to have it taken away is insane. That's insanity. That's insanity. It'd be one thing if the Eagles didn't win, and then you're like, okay, now's the time, because if they win next year, then it's going to be really hard. You're literally going, congratulations on the win. You guys executed the rule playbook, everything to a T. By the way, we don't like the way you can dominate this section of the rules, so we're going to take that out because that's your bread and butter, and we're going to make sure the Chiefs have, what they need for next year, because Taylor Swift, we're planning the league around the Eras Tour. Eras 2. Gotta be kidding me. And Kelsey probably wasn't allowed to retire. Kelsey probably tried to retire, and the commissioner didn't have it. He probably did something. Probably threatened something in his contract that said the commissioner can invoke Article 4563 Section A, where he can take away all the money he's ever given you. If you don't play, so Taylor Swift comes to more games. You have to play 5 more years, Travis. 5 more years. I don't care if you're incapacitated. We need Taylor Swift at every game. Phone line's open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Yeah, but I don't agree that they're trying to take it away. But would you audit for the defense be able to do the same thing?
I don't think you should change anything to try and prevent somebody from. I'm more okay with that because you're adding something. You're not taking something away. But it's still a ridiculous take to be like, how can we stop one team from doing great? Let's add in something on the defensive side to combat that. Now, you can't do that, though, Rock Out, because if you're worried about injury, what, you're going to now have more pushing? This doesn't make any sense. You can't even go in that direction. You go in that direction, you're proving that you've been corrupt with the whole topic. It is what it is. Everybody knew the confines of the rules. Everybody was able to try and perfect this. And very few teams can even do it at all. And Josh Allen's probably the best rushing quarterback in the league to a degree, especially when it comes to like short yardage and like, red zone and inside the 10. And this is a guy that scores, 14, 15 touchdowns every year. Jalen Hurts is obviously right there. But if you put Josh Allen in the Eagles offense and you executed and trained him to do the tush push, he'd be better than Jalen Hurts at it. But the Bills can't execute it. They don't know how. They tried over and over and over. They kept running the play up the center over and over and kept failing. And Josh Allen's the best to probably ever do it if they trained him to do it. That's their fault. That is their fault. And just because Jordan Love doesn't know how to do it at all, it's ridiculous.
Real bad. It was so funny, fell right off his feet.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where. There's nobody calling in to defend it. That's for sure. BBQ, my boy, dropping a $5 hauler, says the league is worried. The league is worried about players getting hurt, but schedules them to play Thursday games. Please, they don't care about player safety. I mean, yeah, play on grass fields. If you're so worried about players getting hurt, get rid of turf. It's just ridiculous. And to the comment I saw earlier, says Smitty, you weren't on the Chiefs conspiracies. What changed? Nothing's changed. I don't know what you think has changed. I'm not about that the NFL's rigged. I'm not about that the NFL makes the Chiefs win games. I'm about that the NFL wants to see them in the Super Bowl very badly, and if they can manipulate certain things that are not in game, like they can't. I don't think Roger Goodell has a tap into the ref and says, hey, you're going to not call this play. That is ridiculous. I think that refs are human beings. One could be corrupted at any moment, sure. But I don't think it's nothing's changed. My stance has been exactly the same. I don't understand where that comment even came from. Gump, you're live. Go ahead, Gump.
How you doing, brother?
What's up, Gump?
Thank you for everything you do, Smitty.
Thank you, Gump.
You put in and everything that you do is just beautiful.
Thank you, Gump.
Oh, I'm over here in Cleveland. I went to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I parked my truck on the end of the pier. I got to play that electric guitar.
Thank you, BBQ.
Hey,
all right, Gump, no offense. Let's keep it on topic. What do you think of the tush push? What do you think of Shedeur Sanders? What do you think of Aaron Rodgers? Hit me with it. Go.
Well, I guess Shedeur, according to Don, he's going to run at his pro day.
Shedeur and Shakir. Who are you talking about? Shedeur?
I can't say.
Shedeur.
He's gonna run at the pro day, and I don't know if he did or how fast he is, but it's starting to seem like he's pretty doggone good.
He's really good. He's not starting to seem like people just act like, Shedeur is this like bad quarterback that's not developed at all. Like, he's good accuracy. I don't understand where this narrative is coming that he's not a good quarterback.
Well, people are getting on board with you because they're saying he's pretty doggone good. So.
Okay. Anything else there?
Just,
Go.
You know I don't like the tush push. You know that. Lost my truck again.
You lost your truck again. All right, Gump, appreciate.
But I want to thank you for everything you did. We're rocking out over here. Everybody's rocking out at the Rock and Roll Hall.
All right, pass out. I need to get.
I get a request.
Yeah, go ahead, Gump.
You know how you do the curtain at the end of the show. Sometimes that curtain. I love that. I just love that when you do that with a curtain. And then could you play some Jimi Hendrix as the
I can't play Jimi Hendrix on the show, bro. It won't allow me. But
you mean at the end when the
No, I can't play Jimi Hendrix at the end of the show. I'll do this for you at the end of the show. Sure, no problem. I actually should get back to that. That's a good point. But I can't play. Okay. All right, Gump.
And then I do have another request.
Last one, Gump. Last one.
Can we do a show at the stadium? I mean, can you be at the stadium and do a show right at the stadium during the football game?
What? No, Gump.
I'll help support it. I'll do whatever you want. I got a whole.
No, Gump. I appreciate you, Gump. Have fun in Cleveland, Gump. Call back tonight if we go live. No, I'm not going live at the stadium. BBQ gifting 20 gifted memberships like a monster. Absolute monster. Guys, if you got a gifted membership, please. Gump's got Gump with the best ideas. Gump called in and just wasted about 8 minutes of our time. But we love Gump. Gump, don't take that the wrong way or get sad about it. We absolutely, you crush it, but none of those ideas help the channel. Let me go over to this caller right here calling from the 407 407 caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Smitty. I'm calling from Georgia.
What's your name?
Paul.
What's up, Paul?
Hey, okay. So, quick question. For Shedeur Sanders, what's your player comp for? And where do you think he can go? Like his ceiling is.
His comp is hard. The comp is really hard. I would say the comp for him, it feels like, I hate to even say this because we're gonna have negative vibes toward the name, but like a good early days Deshaun Watson meets, like Stroud's kind of a good example too. I think that he has the upside. Like right now he's a project. And so going to New York with neighbors with Dable is going to turn him into the best version of himself that he could be. So if he doesn't go there and he went to, let's say, Tennessee, I might never believe he becomes the player he could have become. It's king, bro. It's king. So at the end of the day, I think he could become a top 10 fantasy football quarterback easily. I think he could become a top 12 NFL quarterback. He might be a little bit of the Jalen Hurts pre-2024 season because everyone now is forgetting that they used to say that Hurts is a better fantasy quarterback than he is NFL quarterback. But I think people are forgetting in look, situation and player, you cannot separate it. Right now, Jalen Hurts is equally as good of an NFL quarterback as he is a fantasy quarterback. But it's how propped up is that? What happens now without the OC? What happens now that Kellen Moore's gone? What happens if Barkley ages out in a year from now and A.J. Brown gets older, starts having knee issues, and all they have is Devontae Smith, and then like all their weapons are gone? What happens then? Hurts probably reverts back to the most unbalanced of the comparison of the top 7-8 fantasy quarterbacks. Usually it goes hand in hand. Burrow's like literally, he's here in fantasy, he's here in NFL. Josh Allen's here in fantasy, here in NFL. Hurts was top 3-4 in fantasy, but like 7 to 10 in NFL quarterback comps and rankings, but now it is even. It is equal because the situation's glorious. I think we could get a lot of people that are going to say Shedeur's better fantasy than he is NFL, but I think he can quickly develop and become like an even Steven type of rank across both of those thinkings. I really think he's good. He holds onto the ball a little too much. What?
You think that landing spot for the Giants? But
you need that. You need it.
Like, not worried, but the landing spots for like QBs, if it's like a Giants or like Tennessee, they can't really develop QBs pretty well. I mean, if you look at like, I think an example for this would be like Anthony Richardson. You know, like he's still like a project, and they're still developing him. But
don't judge the Giants, bro. The Giants have Dable, who did this with Josh Allen, and Josh Allen needed a lot of quarterback developing, not running developing. So,
like the next year, he was like great.
Yeah.
You know?
So I think Shedeur is a very similar project for Dable, and Dable is going to do wonders with him. It helps to get Malik Neighbors. So I'm not worried about the Giants at all. The landing spot's beautiful. There is no better landing spot in the National Football League for Shedeur than the New York Giants. Let me just tell you that. That's my opinion. I wouldn't want him anywhere else. This is the best spot. He's got the coach that I know has proven to develop a quarterback that needed a lot of developing. And he has what I believe to be the future wide receiver 1, 2, or 3 in the National Football League for the next 12, 13, 14 years in Malik Neighbors. Like, you can't ask for better than that. Not to mention, they still can do some damage with the running back in round 2 or 3, or they believe in Tracy for the year, and then they develop the other pieces. But this is going to be the best place for Shedeur. By far, no hesitation, no equivocation. It is the place. Now, if Shedeur, and he's not going to Tennessee, so that's not even something you should even be thinking about. He's not going to the Cleveland Browns, according to everything that I see, and because he doesn't want to go there, and they can't afford to screw a quarterback spot up again. It's New York or he falls. And if he falls, then it's Seattle or it's the Raiders. It's a pretty good spot. I think Shedeur is going to get the great landing spot no matter what. I think Cam Ward is the one that is perceived to be the better prospect, and rightfully so. He's more complete right now, but Shedeur is going to go to the better place. So situation's king. It's going to help Shedeur at least even the playing field. But Cam Ward is not somebody I'm going to really want for a couple years, or at least a year, until they develop some talent around him.
Like Young and Keegan all over again. That's how I'm looking at it.
I mean, it could be, but I think people that doubt Shedeur in New York are gonna live to regret saying that he's gonna bust. If you want to say he'll leave.
The only thing about the coaching thing, coaching staff matters, but you remember Shane Steichen used to coach Jalen Hurts, and now he coaches Anthony Richardson. That's like the only.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean. Yeah, but you can't really just say, that the prospect has to land too. It's not like they can be 100% with the develop. Like, that was a risky call. And remember, Shane Steichen didn't probably have full control over the decision. He probably had a lot of control over it. But sometimes these guys, like, look at the Niners and how torn they were with Mac Jones and Trey Lance, and like, some people were unhappy with that pick when it happened, and then Shanahan was thought to be the one that was the most unhappy. And Shanahan never played him, ended up ruining Trey Lance. And even though Trey Lance probably he didn't develop as quickly at the NFL level as he should have in some ways, you'll never know. And no one can come out and just say blanket statement, he failed, he was a bust, he was never good. You don't know that, because he came in as a rookie into the game, won a playoff contingent game, looked really solid in that game. And then Shanahan put him back on the bench, ruined his confidence, and the rest is history. So coaching is it's not always an easy thing. Sometimes you don't have as much pull. Shane Steichen and Dable have both succeeded with Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen, and both failed with AR5 and Danny Dimes. But that happens. There's definitely some gaps. All right, bro, got to go. Appreciate you. Bruce, you're live.
Hey, Smitty, I got a question.
Yep.
We talked about Breece Hall. Now, with this news, would you move him up in your rankings on the videos you did?
Would I move him up? I mean, didn't you see the beginning of the show?
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it, but
yeah. So what I said was that he's going to probably get dropped in ADP, and we're going to take advantage of it. So you don't move him up in the rankings. You realize that everyone's going to freak out about the fact that this coach said that he thinks he's got 3 good running backs, and someone said, you thinking Gibbs and Monty? Because he come from Detroit, Aaron Glenn. He's a defensive coordinator over there that got brought over to be the head coach of the New York Jets. And you thinking Monty and Gibbs? He goes, well, I'm thinking we got 3 guys. It could be a 1, 2, 3. And that's going to freak everyone the hell out. But it doesn't, he's not defining anything. And second of all, this is the most electric player on the roster. And while he could misuse him, there could be a gross misuse of talent. It's certainly possible. You are going to see him fall further than he's already falling because of all the believers are even freaking out. Think about it. How many people in here that have been Breece Hall believers are freaking out? Imagine what the lukewarm Breece Hall people are doing, and imagine what the haters are doing. Like, his ADP is going to probably plummet to the bottom of round 3, and he'll probably flirt with 4. And even if he's in a 2-way, full-blown, 50% committee, he's earning 4th round value with his explosiveness, elusiveness, and efficiency. But I don't even think it's going to get to that. I think that this is a kid that you need to give the old Achane workload to, the old Gibbs workload. Not last year at the end of the year. You don't want to break Breece Hall. You want him getting 12 to 14 carries, not 18 to 22. You want him pulling in 3, 4, 5, 6 passes, not getting 20 carries, having 2 receptions, not being used in the receiving game the same. This is a guy that can be all over the field. And if you listen closely and rewatch what Aaron Glenn said, a lot of the time when he made comments about using multiple backs, he continued to insinuate that they'd all be on the field at the same time, or that multiple running. So he didn't necessarily even say that Breece would come off the field, just that they have a lot of good talent at the running back position. And Braylon Allen is a violent runner. And hopefully he didn't look that violent last year, but he is a violent runner. He's a big boy. And there's a chance he comes in and becomes the Monty and Hall becomes the Gibbs. And that's a suitable, acceptable combination when you run the ball more. I think the mistake people make is they think that the Jets are going to be the Jets from last year and then split the backfield. They're going to run a whole hell of a lot more, and that requires another running back to be involved. And the most important thing of all, if we're going to talk about this, that people don't understand, they don't even think about it properly, is that if Breece Hall is a 3rd rounder, let's just leave this up here because this is what we mocked up the other day as one of the most beautiful teams you could possibly assemble. If Hall's falling down to here, now all of a sudden you can get Breece Hall on teams that you normally couldn't. So if, let's say, we take these players off the board and we say we're going with Ashton Genty. Let me put Ashton Genty on the screen. Let's say you're picking at the 11 pick. So you take Genty at 11. You're getting a receiver like throw a receiver out that you're taking at 13 or 14, guys. Anybody that you like at 13 or 14, or, Genty at 13, actually at 12, 13, and then BTJ. Let's do that. BTJ, because that's more realistic of what you're going to land. You don't have to take Genty in the first round. Okay, so we'll go BTJ, and we'll put BTJ up on screen. So now you get to draft this way. The approach that I just showed you all, the wide receiver and then running back approach, you can now deploy. If Breece Hall is falling, you can now deploy this with the 11 and 12 pick, which you really couldn't do until right now. So if he falls down to the bottom of round number, let me try and find my damn BTJ. Here it is. So BTJ and Genty at 11 and 14, right? Now you can get Breece Hall, which you couldn't do. And you got Genty, Breece Hall, BTJ. And maybe instead of Worthy, you're taking a Josh Allen or JD5, or maybe there's a player that you like a little better that we could certainly throw on screen. But this would be a glorious start. Who's not winning a championship with this top 4? Breece Hall and JD5 back-to-back at the 3rd, 4th round. Thomas Jr. and Genty at near back-to-back in the 1st and 2nd round. This is glory right here. This is straight up glory. And if Breece Hall falls because he goes into a more of a committee, but in an offense that runs the ball more like Detroit, committees don't scare me. Why would I be scared of him becoming Jahmyr Gibbs? Think about it. But to answer your question, Bruce, no, you're not rising him up your rankings. You're letting him fall, and you're taking advantage of it. That's what the answer is, Brucey.
Yeah, because I was kind of like, when I seen him trade, I was kind of like, well, we did a video, and he was like, I believe 5 on our board, and I was like, the good thing for us, though, is he going to go higher for us. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's not a good thing, Bruce. Everyone's freaking out over it. You know? I'm not saying it's a bad thing in at the end of the day. I'm saying that it's being perceived as an awful, awful thing. So, no, he's not climbing. He's falling tremendously, which is great. And it packages in the risk. Every draft slot he falls, the more value you're getting. Like, it's weird. It's almost as if it's like the frog in boiling water example that I give. Breece Hall used to go, let me move all this out of the way. Breece Hall used to go in this top 5 territory. Okay, so if I came to you and I said, hey, Breece Hall at 5 overall, do you like him right now, Bruce? Do you draft Breece Hall at 5 overall?
No.
Okay, and the reason you don't is because there is some risk that you're inheriting from last year, disappointment. Now you've got a potential running back sharing situation, which again, there's a way to explain it in a good way. But you don't pay this. But guess what? As the frog, you throw the frog in boiling water, they jump out. This is me throwing the frog in boiling water. Bruce, will you take Breece Hall at 5? No, jump out. That's hot water. That burns. You put the frog in lukewarm water and you slowly boil it, and it goes from cold to warm to a little warmer, and all of a sudden it's boiling to death water. Now all of a sudden the frog just passes away in the water because he didn't realize the subtle change. The fact that people are saying I'm avoiding Breece Hall, he can't be a top 5 running back in this. Who's asking him to be? Like, do people realize, do they stop, close the door, walk out, close the door, open it, and re-walk in the room and assess the situation anew? Nobody does. This is a guy that you're taking in the 3rd round. Stop talking about top 5 running back value. You're hoping you get that, but you don't need that. You're drafting him at the 3-4 turn. Everybody and their mother's running from this kid. I venture to say he's running back 12, 13, 14 right now before ADPs adjust to the Aaron Glenn news. Dare I say he drops out of the top 14, 15 now, running backs, which puts him in wide receiver heavy environments. Think about it this way. Let's say 18 wide receivers go, less running backs go. You're talking about, running back 12, 13, 14 could fall into this 3rd round. If he goes outside the 15, you're pushing him to 4.1 and beyond. If this is your 4th rounder, there is 0 risk in all upside with Breece Hall round 4. There's no way he can't earn you your value back on a healthy season, even in a committee we don't like. That's the point.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely buy him in Dynasty. We'll probably be doing a Dynasty video on Breece Hall tonight, just to make sure that people know to go get him. To go get him. No one's saying he has 10 years left, but in Dynasty, people fight too much for the future and 5 years out. Play for the now and a year in the future. Dynasty leagues crumble every couple years. It's wild. All right, Bruce, anything else, bro?
No. Oh, wait, yeah. Brian Thomas Jr. or Malik Neighbors?
Well, I mean, where are you drafting these guys, Bruce?
Oh, I'm not drafting them. They appointed me a commissioner of a league. I'm not in it. And they want to know if that's a fair trade.
Okay. Well, I will say this. I'll say that this is not something, this is close enough that you can't veto it. But if Neighbors is going probably in a dynasty format somewhere around the 4, 5, 6 overall territory, BTJ is not that far behind him, but BTJ is slotted below him, in almost every scale or ranking you look at. So at the end of the day, is the guy trading Neighbors away, making a mistake? Maybe, probably. But BTJ, some people like him better. It's a preference, and so you can't step on that. You can't step on that at all.
Guys, I'm not in, and I'm just like, one guy was like, look, I believe in Trevor Lawrence more than any plans the Giants got at quarterback.
Well, that's because he doesn't know. Okay, that's fine. But anyway, you can't step. They're both first rounders, and you can't tell somebody that they can't like BTJ more than Chase if they want. Like those are top. He's a number 4 wide receiver as a rookie. There's a lot to be said there. He outscored Neighbors last year. Neighbors was wide receiver 6. BTJ was 4. So really, there's no argument to be made. I just personally like Neighbors more. All right, appreciate you, Bruce. Later, call him tonight. Rock out. Final thoughts.
Yeah, it is probably a big dream, but who would you take if you were the Commanders? Either a bouquet or still go Henderson?
If I were the Commanders,
double down wide receiver or get
that
they don't have yet.
Let me see if I can. Let me put this over.
Probably not gonna happen, but it was some mock had him going there.
Yeah, let me do something here. I think I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna make this the marker board here. This will make some sense here. Hold on a second, Bruce. Let me just put this on screen here. I'll tweak it later. But if I was the Commanders at this 29 overall, you said Henderson or who?
Ibuka.
Ibuka probably won't be there. So let's just pretend.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Let's just pretend that you could make the trade happen or whatever. I'm gonna say Henderson because at the end of the day, there's a need for running back more than there's a need for receiver. You've got Debo, you've got McLaurin, you've got Ertz, JD5 runs. There's almost no room for Ibuka, but I think that Ibuka if Hendy was gone, he's a phenomenal future wide receiver to grow with JD5. So I really like it. It's not that I don't like it. I just feel like this is a better fit for a team that actually is ready to win now when you got McLaurin and you got this entire squad and JD5 and Ertz. This is a Super Bowl winning team right now. You get Hendy in there, this explosive playmaker that's going to make this guy better, this guy better, this guy better. Ibuka is kind of like, he's so much better than Ricky Pearsall. I'm not trying to compare, but it's like the Niners drafting Ricky last year in the first round and not being able to use him. I'm not saying Ibuka wouldn't be used. He'd be a great slot, actually, because you'd have McLaurin, Debo, and Ibuka would be the slot. He'd be perfect fit. But, it's not something that, you're going to be able to develop as quickly. Hendy comes in week 1, could be the top 5 running back from week 1 on. Like, no doubt about it.
I agree.
All right. Appreciate you, Bruce. Or I'm sorry, Rock Out. Call in tonight. We'll be live again. John, you're live, and then I'll get to the super chat here from BBQ. Go ahead, John.
Hey, so we were speaking. Paul. So if you have an Allen in Dynasty, what are you supposed to do? What would you do with him? I know his yards per carry weren't that great. It's like 3.4, 3.3. Are you looking to move him? Are you looking to keep him, trade him? What would you be doing him if you had him in Dynasty?
I'd try and get Hall so I had the combo. If not, I try and sell him to the Hall owner for a lot. Like, you got to get creative. You got to be like, hey, I'll give you my 1.4 and Braylon Allen for your 1.2. And then you're buying yourself, a couple spots. Or, you could do something along the lines of going and getting, if you can win now, I'd trade Braylon Allen for a Debo. I'd trade Braylon Allen for a player like Charbonnet that's not, that no one is aware of is going to be as good. I'd trade Braylon Allen for Tank Bigsby, a player I think could become this year's Bucky Irving. Not a lock, but for sure think he could be. Like, those are the moves I'm making, bro. Evan Ingram, great tight end grab right now, Broad. Use Braylon Allen to get him. I don't care if he's not like a spring chicken. That's a league-winning tight end, man. All right, later, bro. Appreciate you. Super chat, $20 holler by BBQ, dropping wads on screen.
Alert. Super chat alert.
BBQ. In my opinion, the receivers in the draft are more wide receiver twos for teams. There are no BTJ neighbors or MHJ in the draft. Ibuka, J. Higgins, NFL ready route runners. Tet will bust if drafted as a wide receiver one. Burden on the right team would be scary. Burden's kind of crafty. Burden and the Hunter, I will say this. I'll push back a tiny bit and say that Hunter has the ability to be in the top. We're on the same page, and I said this the other night. This is not that good of a wide receiver class comparatively to last year. And while Hunter would never be better than BTJ, Neighbors, or probably MHJ if MHJ is fully unlocked. That's not his fault. He's in Arizona. It's a mess. I think that he could be right behind those guys. Like, maybe he's not top 5, but he's 6, 7, 8. So I think Hunter has that capability. Now, will his situation hold him back from doing that? Sure. Ibuka could turn into like and I keep using T. Higgins. He's not a T. Higgins. He's a slot wide receiver. He's more of I like to comp him to Debo and Cooper Kupp and JSN. That's what Ibuka could be. He's a 6'1" slot wide receiver. And he's phenomenal. And it doesn't mean he can't play outside. He played all over the place. He just was, focused in the slot, and people pigeonholed him to being a slot wide receiver. He's a great slot wide receiver, but he could play on the outside very easily. You play inside or outside. I think that we've got a shot at Ibuka. Burden may be in the right spot. And I'll have a Burden video up. Burden in the right spot. Ibuka, Burden, and Hunter are the only shot we have, I think, of a top 7 to 12 wide receiver. I think Tet McMillan, the video that I put up, the more I even talk about him, I mean, go look at the Tet. Go watch the Ibuka video where I talk even more about Tet McMillan's failures or potential failure points and concerns than I do in the Tet McMillan video. So go watch the Ibuka video. But Tet McMillan is not good off the line. Tet McMillan, you get hands on him and he crumbles. That can't happen at the National Football League. Ibuka, he loves the contact. He invites it and he delivers upon it. And he's great at getting open. He's great at cutting across the field and even deterring from contact if he needs to, but he loves contact when he finds it. And Tet McMillan, you get your hands on Tet McMillan and he just lets you grab him and he just slows down like a wet fish. Tet McMillan, I like him, I do, but he's not what you guys, I think, are hoping he's going to be. This is not the BTJ. You know what I think of Tet McMillan in some ways? And I think he'll be better than Quentin Johnson. But Quentin Johnson was the biggest receiver in his draft class, and everybody wanted him to be good. They still do. Quentin Johnson's a body catcher. He's a nothing burger. He's not going to ever be a good, consistent player at all.
He is a body catcher.
He'll never be an elite talent in this league, Quentin Johnson, but people wanted him to be so badly. Deontay Johnson, everybody wanted Deontay to be a great player. Everybody wants guys like that to be something special because they got a lot of investment in him. If Quentin Johnson had hands, he'd be a top 10 wide receiver. I definitely don't agree with that. Appreciate you, but BBQ, you're right. I don't think there's a BTJ, a Neighbors, or an MHJ, but even though this class is not, the running back class is as good as this sophomore wide receiver class was for its rookie year. We're gonna have, like, we got BTJ, Neighbors, and MHJ, and then this coming 2025 we're gonna have Genty, Hendy, Hampton, and if it's not Hendy or it's not Hampton, it's gonna be Scattaboo. It might be all 4. It could be potentially Judkins instead of Scattaboo. We might have 4 players in the top 25 running backs, one inside the top 1 to 5, another one inside the 6 to 10, another one inside the 8 to 15, and then another one floating around in there somewhere in the teens or maybe early 20s. This is the running back stable that's going to replenish the fantasy football running back pool of player, just like the wide receiver pool was replenished by the 2024 wide receiver class. So cannot wait. Come on, Travis. What's Travis saying about? I know he's joking just by the look of it. Let me read it with the microphone because I think that's proper delivery of this. It says something like this. It's Smitty. Smitty, hold on. Let me pull it down. I can't see. It's Smitty. No, come on, Smitty. Quentin Johnson can't catch at all. Ted makes great catches. Body control gets open. Not a bad route. Oh, I thought you were joking when I was reading that. I thought it was a Quentin Johnson spoof. Ted makes great catches. Great body control, gets open. No, I think you I realize you're not joking here. I was reading the come on, Smitty, as if it was a megaphone moment. But I didn't say that Ted McMillan was Quentin Johnson, though. I think you misheard me. I don't think you heard me right. Because I wasn't suggesting that Quentin Johnson and Ted are the same player. I'm just saying it reminds me of people. That's the problem when you say reminds me, or, hey, this guy, Kenneth Walker moves a little like Barry, how Barry would stop, and people are like, you can't compare Barry to Walker. Like, I'm not trying to say that Ted won't be better. I think I even said Ted's going to be better than Quentin Johnson. I think I even said that. But it reminds me of people thinking that Ted McMillan's going to be the stud because, Travis, the comparable that I'm trying to point out is that Quentin Johnson was the big-bodied wide receiver of his draft class. Ted McMillan's the big-bodied wide receiver of this draft class. People want them to become that player. People want, because they're the big player, they want them to become a stud. Like, he has to be. He's the big, lanky receiver. This is BTJ, right? It has to be BTJ because he's the big boy. And it's not going to happen. That's what I'm saying. Quentin Johnson, everybody was willing him to be good because he was big. He was the only big receiver in the class, really. And at least ranking-wise, from the onset of the prospecting. And everybody's just willing it to happen. And they still think he's going to be good. It's crazy. Quentin Johnson's nothing but a body catcher. But yeah, I think that the problem with Ted McMillan is that he's just average at too many things, and he's really good at a couple things that allow him to shine at the college level. He's not good off the line. He's not good in congestion or traffic. He can't handle when someone puts their hands on him. He's not as good in situations where he's disrupted and he's got to figure out how to continue on. There's a whole lot of concerns with Ted McMillan's film that translates to the NFL in terms of being concerned. There's a lot to like. There's still development that could be had. There's still players, like I've always said, Tom Brady, Kurt Warner, Arian Foster, Bucky Irving, over and over and over, where they come in and blossom at the NFL level. Even Justin Jefferson was like the third or fourth wide receiver in his draft class ranked. JJ was borderline the third best wide receiver in his draft class to most people. He was taken at 5, 6, 7, 8 overall in rookie drafts. JJ turned into, obviously, JJ. So we really could see anybody, Ted included, develop at an uncanny, unbelievable pace and become an amazing star in the NFL. It's certainly possible, but with the prospecting that we're doing, we have to make assumptions now as to what we have in front of us. We can't assume that this person's going to get on the special track that Bucky was on, because you can't see those coming. There's no way to know when Tom Brady's going to emerge. There's no way to know Kurt Warner was going to defy all the odds of everything. Even Bucky, there's no way to see Bucky would level up just in an instant, and it happens. And so you need that out of Ted, but you can't predict that Ted's going to have that. Yeah, so I'm not a big fan of Ted right now. Ted is my wide receiver 3, and I could even see Burden being tied with him for the next video. I got the Burden and I got the Scattaboo. Hampton already have up. Scattaboo, Burden. I got Ibuka, Hunter, and Tet videos already up. Sanders video might be next. All right, final call or two, and then we're out of here. We'll be back tonight, though.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Yeah, And the other thing that's going against Tet is that there are several teams likely to draft him that are probably going to be already, they're adding him to a electric wide receiver room that he can't be the number one. Like, he could go to Jacksonville if his value hasn't tanked too much to even go that high. He could go to the Saints. Who knows? He could go to the Dallas Cowboys. They're very much linked to Tet McMillan and have been for some time. And the thought process was he'd never fall that far. But now if he does fall and he doesn't go like 5 or 8 to the Carolina Panthers, which would be a good situation. But dare I say that I like Bryce Young a lot, but there's still some risk there, There's still some concern. I like what I'm seeing, though. I feel really good about his development, but I'm not like enamored to the point where I'm starting to predict that he's going to be a top 8 to 10 quarterback, guaranteed, locked and loaded. He's still got a lot of growing to do, but we like what we see. Definitely a nice second year bounce back, but not sure. I think I anoint him some superstar. Plus, Leggett he was a high prospect. Like, dare I say, you throw Leggett into this wide receiver class, we're debating him as like a spot behind Tet McMillan. Like, let's not forget that Leggett looked probably, we're just blind to it right now, probably looked just a smidge below Tet talent-wise as a prospect. Leggett looked fantastic. So it's not like he just goes there and dominates, I think Dallas, Miami, if they trade away Tyreek Hill, Indianapolis, he goes to Indianapolis. I don't like him there. Until we have a great quarterback that can feed him the ball, we know that AR5 or whatever rotation they have going on, Danny Dimes, so what's he going to do? Dimes and then AR5, who doesn't make wide receivers flourish to their full extent. That's a horrible spot, and that's a likely spot. I think Tet McMillan to 14 could happen, 12 could happen. So Tet's got more landing spots that are difficult ones to process and value than he has landing spots that don't. So kind of a concern for me, honestly, is that's one aspect. That's one red flag. All right. Apparently we got no more callers for the moment, so I'm out of here. But I will be back. Thank you for the super chats. BBQ dropping a $20 hauler, a $5 and a $10, and the 20 gifted memberships. Thomas dropping the $2. Thomas, appreciate you. New Age Outlaw, I always appreciate you. I appreciate everybody in here. Thank you for dropping the membership. So see if we have any celebratory messages or milestone messages. I don't see any. That's okay. And thank you again for the gifted memberships. We had 20 by BBQ. And yeah, that was it. I just want to make sure. 20 by BBQ. BBQ's the man. Drop the BBQ emoji, please, to show him how much you appreciate him. Ted is no T. Higgins, lacks the physical. Let me read BBQ's comment here. Ted McMillan is no T. Higgins. He lacks the physicality. Higgins is a beast, catches everything, body control out of this world. I agree with that. And keep in mind, when I use T. Higgins as a Tet McMillan like ceiling, that is the ceiling. That is if everything goes well. I don't think I wouldn't want Tet McMillan over T. Higgins in fantasy. Hell no. Hell no. And as a team, like the Bengals, let's say, give me T. Higgins over Tet McMillan if you could even swap them from a football perspective and a fantasy perspective. T. Higgins is up here. Tet's only dreaming to become that good. But what I'm saying when I say that, just to make it very clear, is that's his ceiling value. There's no BTJ ceiling value for Tet McMillan. It's T. Higgins, who, might I remind people who think that's a very disrespectful, you're going to pay Smitty, you're going to eat crow later statement. It's not. T. Higgins is a borderline top of round 3 player in fantasy. If Tet grows to become T. Higgins, that's glorious value in return. Kyrie Boston, you're live, and then I got to go. So you got about 30 seconds. Go.
I just wanted to say a lot of people never thought about putting Gibbs and Monty together, on the same team last year. That won me a lot of chips. I won numerous championships with both of them on the same team. If you get Gibbs in the second round, and Monty around round 6 and or 7. You know.
Yeah.
I make it happen with Bosley in the first round or something. Have Hurts in the 4th and Neighbors in the 5th.
Yep.
No, Hurts in the 3rd and Neighbors in the 4th.
Neighbors in the 4th spot?
4th round. He was going 4th round last year.
Oh, you're talking about last year. Like, bro, he's not going in the 4th round.
Last year I was getting Neighbors in the 4th round.
Well, last year. That's last year. We're talking about this year, Kyrie Boston. This year. What are we doing this year?
No, I'm just telling people that Monty and Gibbs, though, is a great combination. Though.
Are you trying to suggest that with Hall and Braylon Allen? Is that what you're meaning?
Yes, that's why I was saying that. I think that Hall and Braylon Allen is the new Monty and Gibbs.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but I will say that I think it's a vital cuff. Like when we have the cuff board, we'll certainly have Hall and Braylon Allen together. I love what Braylon Allen came into the league with skill set wise, and we didn't see it, but the Jets were a mess. So I think we give him a pass, and we say this is a potential 8 to 10 running back in Braylon Allen this year. He's definitely got the 8 to 10 potential touchdowns. He could be the Monty for sure. I said that earlier on the show. But I don't think I would go as far as to say it's going to be as electric as Gibbs and Monty. That's a little bit of a stretch, but very much like a poor man's version of it. And it doesn't mean he can't be as good as Gibbs. I just don't think the combo will be as good. But I do think that it's a must cuff. Absolutely. And I love Hall's value.
But I think the quarterback, having a rushing quarterback, makes them more dangerous, too. Making both the running backs more dangerous because the option that he could keep the butt rock, you know, that kind of gives the defense, leaves the defense, you know, wondering who has the ball a lot more.
Yeah.
You know, having a rushing quarterback is going to make them 2 running backs more dangerous. So, I don't know. I think it's probably closer than we think.
All right, man. Appreciate you calling tonight.
Okay, you have a good one.
All right, I'm out of here. Appreciate all of you. Thank you for the gifted memberships. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the conversation. Actually, we got to ask Kruger about the tush push and see if he even knows what it is. Let's see if he does. Hey, Kruger, do you know what the tush push is?
Yeah, the tush push is a quarterback sneak play the Eagles made famous. They line up in a formation where players push the QB from behind to gain short yardage, especially on 4th down. It's super effective, but controversial because of how unstoppable it is.
Have you heard that they were going to vote on it today, the owners? It was 16-16, 24 votes was needed to ban it, and now Roger Goodell is trying to intervene and says that it might be a safety concern to allow it to happen the way that it happens right now. What do you think on that?
Yeah, it's a big debate. The tush push's effectiveness has definitely put it under scrutiny. Safety is a concern, especially with all the bodies pushing from behind. If Goodell's stepping in, it might lead to some rule changes, but it's tough because the play is legal under the current rules. We'll have to see how it shakes out.
I think it's a soft decision by the NFL to decide to take something away, Kruger, because other teams can't do it, like the Green Bay Packers, who were the ones that brought this to a proposal to begin with. And I don't know if you agree with me. You tend to lean with Smitty. That's kind of what you've been trained to do. And on this channel, we're not real happy about Goodell meddling when the vote is supposed to take care of it. And when the vote was going to be an L, Goodell tabled the vote before it concluded so that it didn't have a 16-16 no-go vote. He tables it, Kruger, and decides he's maybe going to meddle in it and decide to make a decision for himself.
Yeah, that's definitely controversial. If Goodell's stepping in before the vote concludes, it can feel like the league's not respecting the process. Fans and teams want a fair shake. It's understandable to be frustrated, especially when it seems like one team's success might be driving the change. We'll see how this plays out.
All right, Kruger, tell the audience deuces and all that. We're on the way out. We'll be back tonight.
Deuces, everyone. Stay loose, stay liquid. We'll be back tonight. Don't forget to wipe your feet at the door. Smash that like button. We'll see you soon.
Don't forget to get on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com. All my year-round content, rankings, bowl predictions, 365, 24/7 rookie rankings. They're always updated, 365. There's no break. There's no off-season. This is what I got into the industry doing over 2 decades ago, was the content. The YouTube channel has been in existence for, this last part of the second decade, but this was what the bread and butter of the brand was for 2 decades. So go check it out. The absolute best trade calculator I believe you're going to find, because your boy got into the industry in 2002/2003 because I couldn't find a single calculator in the industry. So I said, I'll do it myself. And then the Patreon, get on over to the Patreon, patreon.com/The Fantasy Football Show. TheFantasyFootballShow.com was the content. Both links are in the description of every video. So if you ever kind of want to go check it out later, you didn't do it now, and let's say you think of it tomorrow, you can go to really any video, and you're gonna see links to everything that I usually talk about in every single video. And then the merch is cooking. The merch is cooking. Here's the pixelated burrow. This one's awesome. I love this one. The cool part, I got my shirts on the way. I got the Genti, I've got the Kyron, and what other one did I order? The Bucky, all on the way. And the thing I love about these shirts, and I'll put the link in the description right now, so you guys can go. This is a different drop ship company that I'm using for this particular brand. So here's the link for those. I haven't put that in the description of videos yet, but I've got like 10 versions of the pixelated guys up right now, so you can get any one you want. I got Kyron up. Someone asked for Kyron yesterday. Someone asked for Josh Allen. I got Josh Allen up. I love the Josh Allen one. Let me put the Josh Allen up. That one's badass. This one looks good. This is the Josh Allen one right here. That's the Josh Allen. The thing that's great about these is they're conversation starters. Like the real ones know. You walk into your work party with the burrow, a pixelated burrow on, and someone goes, "What's that?" You're like, "Bro, you don't watch football. What's up, bro? My name's Smitty." Clearly you don't watch ball. I like football. No, you don't. You don't like football. You just failed the test. Bro, that's Josh Allen. And you know, what's up, broski? You watch a little foosball? Best conversation starter you can find. I got the Josh Allen. I've got the Bijan, the JD5, the Jahmyr Gibbs. Let me see the Jahmyr Gibbs. The link I just dropped in the live chat, by the way. And these are on sale for $16 right now. They're like huge discount for the first 24 hours that they drop. So go grab them before that price goes back up. But they're $16 a pop now until the 24-hour timer expires. I think 2-day timer maybe. This JD5 is badass. Look at that JD5. I'm telling you, you walk into a room with the pixelated player and people will be like, they'll either know or they won't know. You'll find out who the real ones are real quickly, won't you? See you all tonight. Well, I don't know who your team is, Aaron, but I'm sure there's a player for your team that will be up soon. The Kyron is my favorite. The Kyron's a little more pixelated than the rest of them. Aaron, you made that comment on the Patreon, but in my opinion, this is the best one of them all. I kind of want to almost redo some of them. I love this one. If you don't know who this is, you don't know ball. If you don't know who this is from a mile away, you don't know ball. And everybody's squint right now. If you squint, it starts to become Kyron anyway. Just squint a lot, like really squint. And all of a sudden you start seeing Kyron there. The further you're away from the person, the more it looks like Kyron. You don't know who this is? You don't know ball. You don't know ball. Walk up to somebody and go, I heard you like football. Who's this? I don't know. Oh, so you don't know football. I see. I bet you want the tush push band too. And look at this Bucky. I can't wait for the Bucky. Look at that. Look at that. That's beautiful. I love these, man. The 8-bit player images. Who's your team, Aaron? The Patriots. We might have a Travis Hunter soon. Look at the Jahmyr Gibbs. You can read the name a little too clearly in this one, but I'm not redoing them because, I want everybody to be the same. Someone wants the Bijan. The Bijan's already up, baby. Let's see. Where's the Bijan? The Bijan's a little more clear as well. There's a couple that are a little more clear than the others, but I kind of like that. I like that they're all a little different. Here's the Bijan. Again, squint. Right now, squint on screen. Just squint. Pull the phone away. The Joe Burrow one is the best. I love the Joe Burrow. I got a Jamar Chase up. The Joe Burrow is glorious. See, look, the smaller I make it, the more it looks like Joe Burrow. You can barely tell. Oh, that's Joe Burrow. That's Joe Burrow. Wait a minute. Who's that? All right. See you all later. Travis Hunter coming soon. Henderson one coming soon.